Everyone good getting a little wet?
Yeah.
So this is our podcast studio / hayloft. Slide the door open, I got a view over the back 40. So you guys probably saw this is called Five Bridges Farm. That's the main bridge. And then there's 4 other little bridges, including that one over there that looks rickety. So there's a little stream that comes off the cold plunge, the spring house. And that bubbles up from the ground and it stays around 45 degrees year round. Like Jordan and I have done it in the middle of winter where the water's warmer than the air. Summertime, it almost feels like there's an AC in there because the water just coming up. So back when this was a functioning farm, the farmer would keep milk in the water to keep it cold before it went to go to sell it. So that comes off a little bit there. And then this main stream runs from Lake Wabisa and runs to a watershed, which evidently I learned is one of the most important watersheds in the country for migration and for butterflies and birds. And that's just over here this way. But yeah, so the farm's called Five Bridges, and I built a whole coaching curriculum off of that and through some of my hard lessons that I've gone through over the last 5 years or so. So made a whole platform on that. And so I wasn't married to the name at first. I was potentially even going to change the name. And then I built that coaching curriculum and philosophy around it, and I was like, it's stuck now. So let's keep walking up. I want to show you guys a special spot of mine. So if we cross that bridge, we won't today because of the rain. You go up into the woods a little bit and there's this sweet ass tree house that they built. Energy wise, clarity wise, one of the things I've done is I know some of you follow me and I do ruck talks all the time, but 8 months ago, I took my AirPods out because being a high achiever, I'm trying to multitask. So I got a podcast in my ears and I'm moving. And then I had this epiphany, like, I don't have any silence in my day at all. Like, but as soon as I get home, I'm getting the kids ready for school, getting them off to school, and then I'm here and working and doing everything. And then you get home and let's get the kids from their activities, all the different stuff. So there's just no quiet. So I took my AirPods out, and that was my quiet time with God. That was my quiet time with myself. And that's how those ruck talks have really been going. It's just like, what's the stream of consciousness between God, myself, and my head on that morning for about 45 minutes. And it's been a blessing, a huge blessing for clarity. So not only, you all know with exercise, like the endorphins in your brain get going and you actually have some interesting thoughts, almost like, in the shower, those theta waves from the hot shower, you're like, oh, I had a great shower thought today. Same thing with working out, and that's why I took the AirPods out, and it's been really good. But the reason I stopped here, a lot of you know my story, but just about 4 years ago, my world came crashing down. So I didn't get fired because I was a bad managing partner. I got fired because I had someone sue me. And so I'm in 2 legal battles. And one was 6 months negotiating my exit, and the other was the lawsuit for discrimination. And so December 29th, 2021, I closed my deal with Northwestern and finally closed that chapter after 6 months. And the other lawsuit was still going on. So I decided in that 6-month interim that I wasn't going to re-enter the industry. I was going to build something different. And so instead of taking a $2 million offer from another company, I gave myself a $0 offer and bought a $5 million piece of property to put the stress back on myself and go back to war. So the problem was I wasn't mentally ready for the war. I was beaten down. And so that January I took on 75 hard, and that was the first time that I did it. It was January 2022. And I've done it every year since. But the reason I stopped here, and to give you guys some perspective, you can see out over the whole property right here. And so as I'm on these walks, these rucks, and I got at least one dog with me, I'm still battling mental demons. And I was still wondering why all the shit happened to me, why I was still facing this dark cloud of this other lawsuit of someone that I not only recruited, mentored, poured everything into, decided to stab me in the back, why all this shit was happening. So anytime things go wrong, we always have this big why going on. And for me, I just kept leaning into God and talking through all those lessons and what I was supposed to experience in those dark times. And I would sit up here on my walks, and this would be about 3/4 of the way through, because what I did was I went through the back 40 through the woods, and I would do a big loop around and come up here, so I'd be about 3/4 of my way through the walk, and I'd have some of that mental clarity, and I'd literally just lean and look. And I was just like looking at everything, God's creation of this land, what was going on, because in my darkest times I kept saying, man, God, you must have a much bigger plan than I had for myself, because otherwise I wouldn't have been put through this. And then this became the purpose, and getting everyone away from their Zoom screens and fluorescent lights and touch them back into nature and touch them back into themselves so that they can go back to the world as a better human being. Go back to their families, back to their people that they lead, back to their businesses and their clients, and actually notice that a lot of the life we live is superficial. A lot of the life we live, whether it's social media, the fronts, the masks that we put on in our office, or what we do for our clients sometimes, like when we're not showing up our authentic selves, like your most authentic self is your most attractive self. And what that taught me all through that journey and doing the 75 hard, I was just writing about this in my book, which is gonna come out later this year, but I was talking through that, like I remember writing in my journal, I actually did the journal on the 75 hard app. I did it the first time, the other subsequent times I didn't keep as good a track in the journal. But I wrote down, like on day 74, I wrote before I went to bed, I was like, you could chop my legs off tomorrow and I'll crawl outside for 45 minutes. Like I feel unstoppable right now. And what it did was it really got my mind back to where I needed to be to go back to war to build something great again. But this has been my point. Anytime I start feeling sorry for myself, anytime I start questioning God's plan, I come back up here and just look over that. And now the horses are interested in what we're doing. But just look over this land, look over this, and like, God bless this, God bless me. He never left me, He never forsake me. And there's still work to do. There's still work to be done. I'm not done. And we continue on. So the part of this bringing here for you guys is, I think everyone needs a spot. And it doesn't have to be some grandiose spot like this, but just a spot where you can get clarity, where you can tap back in and actually just recenter yourself, pray, meditate, whatever you do to get back to center. And it's just been a really important piece of my life, something I never had before, never thought of. And this spot for me, when I bring people up here to explain this story and what it means, we got a fence post and then a lot of land. But how many times do we walk past or drive past some beautiful land and not even notice it? Like every day. And it's just sometimes slowing down, and then we'll talk about that with the headpiece today. Noticing, being present, tapping back in to ourselves, and noticing God's creation all around us at all times. And the beauty in this world, in this life, because we only get one shot at it. So that's why I wanted to take you guys up here this morning. I was sitting down with him. This is like a friend that you only see every 6 months, but you pick right back up where you left off. And I was sharing this vision. He's like, bro, have you seen this place? And shows me a video of this. Morning, boys. So that's Teddy Swims, that's the pony. We got Mac, Gus, Willie. Was there a cat? Yeah. It's scared of Remy. It's the cat-dog thing, even though Remy could give two shits about him. This one will ride on the horse's back. Yeah, she'll jump right up there. But our cats are cool. Like, they're total barn cats, but they like humans as well. They like pets. They just don't like the dogs. It's that cat dog thing. Let me open this up. I wanted to show you guys the arena. So this was all built out before me because the previous owner's wife was a big equestrian. And so we haven't really touched this space other than add some decor and whatnot. My equine therapist has an office in here. So yeah, Bernadette, who was Leonidas' wife, Weller, after one of my favorite bourbon brands. And then the gray and white one that probably snuck out is Arturo, after Arturo Fuente. So I got naming rights on the cats. All the other animals are pretty much named by my kids. So we've had weddings and stuff in here, other events. It's been cool, like the wedding parties will come out through this into the crowd. So you can see the viewing area that they built up there for the anyone watching the riders. But really cool, I'll tell you more about this tomorrow. I've always had a vision of holding a leadership summit, and there's never been one. I've been to them all over the country, you know, multiple speakers. I've been to Puerto Rico to see stuff, all the different places. None have ever taken place in Madison, Wisconsin. So I decided to do one. We're gonna do it in August, and it's gonna be in here. So I've never been to a big event like that in Madison, and I've never been to one in a horse arena, so I'm gonna put it together. So imagine big stage up there, video boards, and we're gonna try and fit 350 people at round tables in the arena here August 7th. Yeah, a couple political events we did last year, like Tulsi Gabbard was here with Senator John Kennedy and some others. It was cool. We had like 500 to 700 people in here, and they only used like a third of the space, so there's a lot of standing room, but it really showed us what this was capable of with the stages set up and having that many people around. It was, those were cool things to host, not only for the people that came, but also showing what this building was capable of. But yeah, the equine therapist is in here often working with kids on the spectrum and adults with PTSD with the horses, and yeah, it's awesome. I've seen some of the kids paint the horses, and you get kids or adults on the spectrum that struggle around humans, see them light up around the animals is pretty awesome. All right, let's head back up to the house.